In this video, we're going to be covering finding the roots of a quadratic equation that is in the form ax squared plus bx equals 0. Okay, so there's no constant term on the end of this equation. It's in the form ax squared plus bx equals 0. Okay, so let's take a look at the first example. Here we have 6x squared minus 18x equals 0. All right, so the first thing you should probably do when you look at any polynomial equation like this, any equation of this form, is you should look to see, is there anything I can factor out of this? Is there anything these terms have in common? And for this one, what we can notice is that we can divide a 6x out of each of these. Okay, so if we take out a 6x from each of these, that means we can rewrite this equation as 6x times 6x minus, sorry, I did that wrong. Sorry, 6x times x minus, I can't even write today, minus 3. Okay? And to see why you can write it like this, if we were to follow this back out, 6x times x, that'll give us 6x squared, and 6x times a negative 3 would give us negative 18x. So this is actually just us rewriting the equation as 6x times x minus 3 in parentheses, and this is still equal to 0. So now we want to figure out when each of these factors is equal to 0. So let's set the first one, 6x equal to 0. So if we say 6x equals 0, the only thing that's going to make this true is when x is equal to 0. So we know that x equals 0 is one of our factors, okay? All right, and then we can look at the other one. We can have x minus 3 now. So we say x minus 3 equal to 0. Here we'll just add 3 to both sides, and we'll have x is equal to positive 3. Now, if you want to check your work, you can plug x equals 0 and x equals 3 into each of these, and you will see that each of these make this equation equal to 0. Okay, similar idea here for the next one. We have 5y squared minus 20y. So what you'll see here is you should be able to divide each of these, each component of this, 5y squared and negative 20y. You can divide out a 5y from each of these. So if we pull out a 5y from this equation, we'll have 5y times y minus 4. Okay? And we get this because if we multiply 5y times y, we get 5y squared. And then if we multiply 5y times negative 4, we get negative 20y. Okay, so we set this equal to 0. Now, 5y is one of our factors, so we say 5y is equal to 0. And again, just like last time, this must mean that y is equal to 0. Okay? And then to check the other one, we have y minus 4 is equal to 0. We can add 4 to both sides, and we get y is equal to 4. Okay, so lastly here, sometimes you might have it written a little bit differently, where you have something like u squared is here, like this one, u squared is equal to 10u, okay? This is actually of the same form, it's just written a little bit differently. To see this, let's go ahead and subtract 10u from both sides. Okay, these will cancel, and then now we can write this as u squared minus 10u is equal to 0. Now here, it looks like the only thing we can pull out of this equation is just a u, so let's do that. So this will become u times u minus 10 is equal to 0. So therefore, our first factor, u, we set u equal to 0, and we already have our answer. U is equal to 0. And then the second one, we set u minus 10 equal to 0. We can add 10 to both sides, and we'll get u is equal to 10. And again, if you want to check either of these, you can plug u equals 0 or u equals 10 in, and just ensure that this actually is the correct solution.